Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, what we're going to call the impossible rally just keeps going. Man, look at these charts. So here we are on the Treasuries. We're coming into some important areas. There's this naked point of control, 129.10 in the 10-year. Excuse me. Pretty significant support area down here. Of course, there's plenty of levels below it, but, you know, this was the low from the previous, what do we say, before all this noise. I'm actually going to have to zoom out a little bit to see here that, okay, so there's that, and then below that, there's 128.20, and then it's kind of like, woo, okay. We're pretty high up here. Gee, guys. Okay, E-mini. E-mini, strong rally here on the daily. Overnight, a little bit up. So, I'm calling it the impossible rally. Not because it's impossible. In fact, from my perspective, everything seems to be perfectly in line. But all of the liberals out, bears out there, are just absolutely perplexed as to how we can be pushing new highs and all of this. But come on, guys. The only thing that was really keeping us down was China trade. And for now, that is going okay. And we got the Federal Reserve to reduce interest rates out of it. So, party on, right? Anyways, that's where we're at. Let's start up the robot here to read you guys' comments. Oh, and make sure that we start up the... blah, 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 blah. Change the YouTube title. So let's call it Impossible Rally Continues. So far. Maybe it reverses today. That'd be something else. And this could be a spot where we could see something like that. So it's the 5th. Impossible Rally Continues. Exclamation point. By the way, guys, I'm going to give you a couple of things. So first of all, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Bell icon helps you find the stream when we go live. I'm going to post a little link here in the chat. This is the live link. So if you just bookmark that and come in the morning, and you can just sit in there, and then you will be able to pop in as soon as we're live. Okay, there was a little bit of buy-in there, and that's kind of interesting. Right there on the open. That was not what I wanted. Posted in the wrong channel. Also, if you haven't checked out our Discord, you should do so because it is awesome. It is awesome, guys. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about going back to this. It does appear that yesterday's video did pretty good. Although I don't know if we get engagement numbers on it. Let's look. Can we get the engagement numbers on here? Analytics. Engagement. I'm just trying to figure out what's best for you guys. You know what I mean? Kevin, I was wondering why I got messages from you. Oh, yeah, because I sent him I sent Kevin the messages when I meant to put them in the interest rate channel, and then I deleted him, but he still saw them. Okay, where were we going? Right here. So I should be able to see now on my daylight savings times sucks video, which was yesterday. Can we get engagement? Average view duration, 43.4%. That is higher. I think that we should keep doing this because YouTube will very much like that. And we did hit 29 peak concurrent viewers yesterday. That's really good, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, well, after that initial buy, they are pushing lows. Look at that. So, tactically speaking here today, of course, the pressure is down, and so I would prefer to sell. But there's some real, you're going to get like these buy moves that are like really fast and aggressive. That's funny. Anyways, so I'm a little weary about selling lows like this because what happens, you sell lows and then one of those things come and they're going to push us up 4 ticks out of nowhere. You don't want to be caught in that. So I'm a little weary. Also, we have some stuff going on today. Tuesday, 6:30, trade balance. Final services PMI at 745. And ISM non-manufacturing PMI. So we got some good news today. We'll see if it goes. There's a stack. So they might take a break down here. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. We have a strong move pushing lows of the day, and then the first thing that you do is spoof 3,000 at 8.5. Why would you show that much pressure? Could be a trick. But I just don't like the risk reward here. So I'm just kind of gotta ignore that setup. Anyways, there was something else. Oh yes, Bitcoin. Look what happened in Bitcoin. Holy crap. Holy crap. There was a bit of a buy yesterday. I did say in my notes, well, if you're a subscriber to the Patreon, you will see that I said they might have a buy. If you're not a subscriber, then you can see it in a week. But I said, there might be some room for them to try and make another buy. So they did. And then overnight, they just completely dumped. All the way down to 8,400 and then recovered. That is quite a move. I'm not quite sure what to think about that. I think that might shift the short-term momentum down, but it's a little bit too much too. And it just kind of looks like whales messing with us again. I'm not into those coins. How does the Bitcoin future influence the Bitcoin price? Good question. I don't know if it actually does. To be honest, I mean, if you watch like the E-mini, for instance, if there's some big selling in the futures, then it's going to affect all the stocks, like the arbitrage, and all the robots see that and they go and they sell it. In Bitcoin, I don't think that it works that way. I think that the futures are trying to trade what's happening on the exchanges, primarily Bitfinex, and but I like to show the Bitcoin futures, one, because we get the futures data, and two, because we can see that cumulative delta. So I don't think that they directly affect. I think that Bitcoin, for the most part, affects the futures, and the influence that the futures has on Bitcoin itself is probably pretty minimal. Pretty minimal. But there's probably a way to study that and look at it. I was looking the other day, there was an interesting story where these guys said that the whole run up in 2017 was probably due to like one
Kevin
buyer.
Says, so like currency futures?
Yeah, it's like currency futures, totally. Yeah, I think that's a really good comparison, Kevin. But anyways, they were saying that the run in 2017 was probably due to like one guy on Bitfinex. I was like, well, that would sure coincide with what I see. But anyways, I have a muffin here. I'm going to finish it. Hold on a second.
Lucas says morning folks. Uzi Knesset says morning.
There you guys are. By the way, I was just saying, because I don't know if you guys had trouble finding the video again today, but there's a link here. I'll post it again. This is like the permanent live link.
Lucas says waving hand.
How's it going? Both Uzi and Lucas. Anyways, if you bookmark that page.
Speculator Seth says.
If you bookmark that page and then you just open it up and then, you know, you'll start as soon as the live stream goes. So you can just use that link.
Michael X says, what time did you start today? I had trouble, but maybe you just started later than usual?
So I started it right at 6:15. Almost. But yeah, what I'm doing is before I would start the stream at about 6 o'clock my time. Well, let's just say at the top of the hour, right? Yeah. Michael says okay for some reason. Yeah.
Michael XC says, oh, okay, for some reason I couldn't find it today.
Yeah, it's like, it's a problem. I don't know. So there's other things that we can do. I think what we're going to do tomorrow is we got this thing right here. No. This control room thing. So tomorrow we can go in and we can say, actually we need a title first. We'll just rip this.
Lucas says, Mutual, remember we are in a different time now. Market starts 1 hour later if you live outside US.
No, I thought that daylight savings time for Europe started a week before ours, and so now we should be
06 downside target on ZB if she can keep selling.
Now they should be aligned back up again. Okay, so if I create this right here, and it's going to be 06, and we're going to schedule for later, and it's going to be Wednesday at 6:15. Upload this thumbnail that we had. Pictures. Which one is which? That's the PNG. And just delete that one. Okay. And create stream.
Lucas says, oh lol, I just don't live in the EU and found out yesterday I now have 1 hour more of sleep because we don't change the time around here.
Oh, really? Where do you... I forget where you live. But Europe does, yeah. Man, they're just... They traded a decent amount of volume there. off
Lucas
of the
says
open,
saw.
and now they're just kind of SA. South America. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Well, anyways, what was the news, by the way? We didn't really see a whole lot of action when that happened, did we? Well, the trade balance, we were expecting a reading of negative 52.9, and we got a reading of negative 52.5. So slightly better than expected, but pretty negligible. We did come up there. I suppose it's a potential short at 09, but I'm not so sure that we had enough buy volume going through all of that to really do anything. I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting, see if it gives us a good spot somewhere. I don't want to buy it.
Wimmer Kevin says I find it funny that sometimes the biggest volume in ZN 5 minutes chart is during the overnight session, for instance yesterday.
I have to see it. That's kind of a hard thing to judge sometimes, you know? Like right now. I mean, if you look at today.
Lucas says I have 030-035 in ZN. Looks weak, so we could test those levels.
For sure. Okay, so here's the open. We had 45,000 trade on the open. The biggest that I see overnight is like 22 at 215. Okay, let's go to the previous day. Okay, where's 6 o'clock? 6:30. Okay, yesterday they actually didn't trade all that much on the open.
Jay Constance says Bitcoin only going up. The bears seems failing, bringing it down. The sentiment is bullish everywhere.
I don't know about that one, dude. That one doesn't make sense to me. So they bought it up $500, and then they dropped it $1,000, and then it recovered back to where it was, and you say that's bullish? Nah. You know what? I say that's a bear fucking, well, not a bear, sorry. That is a whale just messing with you. And it could go any way that it wants. They could sell
Kevin
it again.
Says yesterday approximately 1H before the open was a big sell-off.
Let me see if I can find it. I just didn't see the volume necessarily. Was all. You say about 1 hour before.
Jay Constance says yes, 300% up this year seems extremely bullish to me.
No. Because you're talking about, you're still just in a recovery, you know?
Wimmer Kevin says NVMI failed, not yesterday 111.
111. Oh, okay. what day was that? Oh, I would have to. November 1st. So not yesterday, but the day before, basically. So there's yesterday. And there's the day before. I mean, you can get big sells going into it, for sure.
Wimmer Kevin says okay, failed again. That was probably the news before us changed time. Forget what I said, grinning face.
But let's put it a different way. Let's say something that I'm pretty confident in saying. You can get pretty strong trends in the extended session before we open. And it is often the case that action from European players is what is primarily moving the market. And so they have all of the fun without us, and then we wake up and it just goes nowhere. Kind of like what it's doing right now. It's like, oh man, wouldn't it be great to sell it at 129.14 and have all that possibility of it going lower and stuff? But then you're sitting here and you're like, well, where can I actually sell it? It's just kind of tight. Anyways, on the Bitcoin thing. So here's your larger problem in Bitcoin is that, we had that all-time high at like 20K. Since that time,
Live action says GM all.
Actual use on the blockchain has decreased. And so there's like a hard limit on price, somewhere around 12,000, 15,000. Now, when I say hard limit, I probably shouldn't use the term hard limit because that would kind of suggest that it's like it would be impossible for it to get through there. Nothing is impossible, especially when you can just manipulate the price any way that you want. But that is the spot at which, in the past, they have not been able to get through. That is, there at that point, there is way too many people in, and you get heavy incentive in selling. Okay. So you're like right up there. And they've been struggling. They've been having trouble holding these levels. There was this whole thing when we were at 1100, they failed. Then they pushed up to 8500 and they failed. And now they've pushed up again. They've made a higher high, but they're at 10,000. They might be failing. We don't know. I mean, that was a pretty strong sell. Are they going to... and then they recovered, but how many times have we seen that? And then they went and they pushed lower. So I really don't think that you can draw too many conclusions from that. We're still just in the whales can do anything. I can only say that your risk reward is not very good. Because, your reward on the upside is maybe you make, if we went up to, let's see, if we're at 9,500, that's so maybe you could make 10%, 20% maybe if it goes to 12, right? And if it fails, it's going to go to 1,000. You're going to lose 90% of your investment. That doesn't seem like a good risk reward to me. But like I said, here's another thing, guys. And this applies to every market. And I was just thinking about this the other day, but one of the things that I did when I worked for Goldman Sachs was risk controls. I was thinking about this because these guys on Robinhood are doing that thing where they'll sell a stock and then they'll use the credit that they got from selling the stock to buy puts or something. And they'll leverage themselves and take $1 million position with only $1,000 in margin. And I'm like, what is their risk controls team doing over there? They don't have something that calculates their overall position?
Live action says #Wimmer Kevin ZN has some nice moves during the European Open, better than S at times, similar to Bund.
Mm-hmm. But they're they know it's a problem and they haven't done anything about it. They'll just stop some accounts that are doing it, but they haven't fixed the problem. And I say somebody over there probably needs to be fired. But anyways, I was thinking about my time there, and when I was there, I could see basically the position and the credit limit of Every client, every trader at Goldman Sachs. Literally everyone. Okay. Like $2 trillion, I think, was the public number that they say they're well at that time in 2016. Okay. So $2 trillion worth of assets. I could see everybody's positions. Right.
Lucas says I wouldn't have my funds in those W brokers. You know what happens if they go bust because of those extremely leveraged positions.
Right. I mean, I would think that they're probably big enough to handle it, but it's just the fact that they're that incompetent. I don't want anything to do with them. So anyways, here's how this would work normally. Was like we would get a call in the morning and it would be like some warning would get triggered. Says so-and-so is using...
Uzi Knesset says same shit happened to FXCM with the SNB fiasco.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Anyways, we'd get emails in the morning. This trader is using 80% of their credit limit. And then we would have to go and talk to the controller and we'd tell the controller, oh, this guy, they're too close. And then they would come back and they'd say, oh, they're doing market operations for this client. And so we need to just increase the number and so increase it. And it would be like increase it by like $500 million or something. Like, I'm not even kidding. These were huge.
Uzi Knesset says 98% of clients holding long USD CHF and they removed the 1.20 floor and the instrument drops 4,000 pips lol. Bye bye $500 million haha.
Is FXCM is still around though, aren't they? Just not in the United States. Man. Anyways, the amount that was like a small client, like 100 million was like a small client. It's ridiculous. The amount of money. I mean, think about it. That $2 trillion in assets, and you're thinking about millions. That's like, right? That's like a million millions.
Uzi Knesset says yeah, they got booted from the US for routing client volume to a subsidiary they owned.
Yeah, not cool. So anyways, they have so much money. Okay. So think about this situation. You're sitting there, you're seeing they come in. Okay. We need to buy this stock. The client wants to acquire, a certain percentage of this stock, several millions of dollars.
Michael X says FXCM got bought out and don't operate in the US anymore.
Yeah. And we need several million, $10 million worth of the X stock. Okay. So then they go in and they go to their chart guy and the chart guy says, no, we can't do that today. There's an intraday head and shoulders on the 1 minute chart. We can't do it. They don't do that. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit what pattern is on a 1 minute chart, dude. The client wants to buy it and they're buying it. And it's going to go right through you. There is literally nothing that any of us retail people can do. It doesn't matter what the probabilities are. Doesn't matter how many of you guys are going to go short. If they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it. And it's going to move because somebody that big moves it. And that's why all of these patterns and stuff are really like not very reliable
Kevin
short
says
term.
they even ignore the penis reversal. Can't believe that.
Right? They do. I'm telling you, they do. I'm telling you. This is kind of painful to watch because I would really like to be a seller, but they're not giving you anywhere good. We could have done the 09 half, but could have done the 09. I said, hey, well, here's a potential spot. It's died down a little bit, but I didn't trust it. This was another thing, was like when you go down there on their trading floor, like every workstation has like 6 screens. And they have like 6 screens and they have so much crazy stuff on there, right? And they have these huge phones because they have to talk to like 20 people at a time on the phone. So they have one screen and multiple computers too, right? It'll be like 6 screens and 2 computers. No joke. One computer will be just for running like this algorithm thing like a buy or a sell program, you know, and then they'll have a window just for communications with their team and email, and they'll have a screen that is like their main trading screen with the DOM, you know. They're doing so much stuff. They're talking to all of these people. It's not like what we do, like we're scalping, you know. They don't just sit and stare at the DOM and
says morning.
Have so much more going on. Okay. And you imagine that guy that is like at the top of the game and he's doing all that crazy stuff while he's trading. He has 6 monitors. Do you really need 6 monitors? You don't need 6 monitors. You don't need 6 monitors. You have 6 monitors.
Says morning, Ace.
It's a nice thing to have. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get them. It's a nice thing to have. It just means you can make your charts really, really big, right? But you don't need 6.
Uzi Knesset says, I mean, if you have 6 different things to do, it helps, lol.
Right. I mean, I have it split up 3 ways, right?
Lucas morning.
I have one is communications and streaming, one is the DOM, and one is my longer term charts. But honestly, I could probably consolidate it. Especially if I wasn't streaming.
Michael X says just get 340 inches 4K.
If I wasn't streaming, I probably would be able to get away with just one. I think. Because I could make the DOM so much smaller.
Lucas says I have 4 chairs around my table, only use one cuz live alone. But they are there.
4 chairs, Lucas. Man. It'll come useful someday.
Kevin says, by the way, what is the reason gold and bonds open at such an odd time? Like crude, nat gas and so on open at the beginning of the hour and the stocks at half OT the hour. Live action says lol.
That's actually a good question, Kevin. So I think the reason that the treasuries open when they do, treasuries are a more economic news sensitive instrument, and a lot of economic news gets released at 8:30 Eastern time. And so they open up the pit 10 minutes before that so that all of the market makers can get in and sell before the news. I think is the main reason for it. But I'm sure that there's some historical context to that, you know, because I think it's been like that for decades.
Wimmer Kevin says, and what about the news 5 minutes before the open?
What do you mean, like before the... Oh, you're talking about the one that happens at like 6:15 sometimes, yeah.
Swissio says you need the monitors if you arbitrage or spread trade what most institutions trade.
Yeah, arbitrage would be a good example too. Yeah. Well, like I said, they would have one was like the robot, one was communications, one was the DOM, one had charts on it. And I suppose then maybe you would have one that was like your spreads. And I don't know. Not every chart had not every screen had charts on it.
Short at 3083.00.
I definitely saw charts when I was there, but not nearly as many as I think most retail traders would think. It was like one screen would have a chart on it. And honestly, I think that they kind of would just look at like the market profile stuff to get started, and then because honestly, that stuff doesn't really matter to them. You're that big. When you're that big, you don't have to sit down and try and predict where it's going to go. You just have to know what the overall context is, right? If we're here to buy treasuries and we're in a strong downtrend like we are now, then you know, hey, I can kind of sit back and just let them like really go crazy and they'll fill me and I can just get a lower and lower price and it'll be great. And if we're already moving up, then it's like, well, I'm going to have to be really ambitious here, or I might have to pull a couple of tricks to get people to sell into me. You know, that's the sort of a thing that they're thinking is how can I...
Wimmer Kevin says, the ADP non-farm employment change, for instance, is right before the open. I think there is another one.
And I kind of wonder about that. I think that the non-farm the ADP number is like a more modern number that didn't always exist. So maybe there's some historical precedent for it. Like They always started at 6:30, and they'd done it like that for decades. And then ADP said, "Oh, we're going to come out and put it before the open," and they're like, "Well, we're not going to change it," or something. Who knows? I don't know. I bet you there's some old guy that's like 80 years old and has been trading treasuries for 40 years that could tell us. But I'm not that person. A pretty big stack at 05.5. That might that's this is interesting. I did not notice this. So the treasuries have been selling very hard, but they've been selling into a relatively thick area. A relatively thick area. Their 05.5 is stacking up, and actually it looks like that there was some orders at 04.5 that kind of moved up there. So I think those guys probably want fills. 600 hit into it.
Lucas says don't trust it. UB already bounced 6 ticks and ZN didn't even move one.
Really?
Live Action says Seth that short you are thinking about is tough with price falling into last Tuesday Globex balance. A look at horizontal charts show how price legged cleanly off balances as it migrated.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's like, so let me back up. Why are they selling so hard? Well, this China trade deal seems like it's okay right now. I'm still really concerned that the trade deal is going to fall apart. This morning, the story was that China was pushing the United States to get rid of all of the tariffs.
Trade says if you took that short at 3,083, keep a tight stop. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here thinking like, well, we're not going to give away all of the tariffs and all leverage and not get everything that we wanted unless they really are doing something on the intellectual property front. So I'm a little skeptical about the trade deal still. But hey, the market is going along with it. So we can just assume for now that the trade deal is going fine. We're moving down. Okay. The Federal Reserve has said inflation remains muted and it would require significant inflation for the Federal Reserve to raise rates. That's what they said at the last meeting, right? So that means, okay, things are going better. Interest rates should rise.
Holding it well at Ace. I didn't take it because I don't like the low liquidity above that level.
Things are going well. Rates will increase, but the Federal Reserve isn't going to increase rates. Not until they see real inflation. So that means treasuries can move down, but they can't move down that much. I don't think that this order flow that we've been seeing the past week or so is people betting on the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. I don't think that that's it. But the trade deal is going well, and you can see all of the currencies are just getting creamed. Gold is getting creamed today, by the way. 6J going down, 6B going down.
Trade says at Lucas, well, there is always another trade around the corner. I took it, but wish it would move more.
So it seems to me that the reason it is moving right now is because of currencies. This is because of the dollar. And remember that when we see the dollar as the primary mover in treasuries.
Uzi Knesset says, I think I am gonna rearrange my office after the session today, grinning face with big eyes.
If that is the case, then you can move, right? Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. Yeah, hold on for a second, guys. If it's currencies, then remember that what we'll often see is we'll see the treasuries just move on almost no volume because the arbitrage robots that keep things in line with the dollar are really good and they just sell it and move the liquidity and that's it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And the volume doesn't matter, right? So it just makes the whole trade really, really tough because from an order flow perspective, so you're going to get a lot of fake signals, right? You're going to get all of these signals that it looks really good, like there's so much absorption at 06, and it really looks like it's going to turn around here. and then the currencies move and it pushes it lower, and a bunch of guys just get screwed and get stopped out, you know? So that's where some of these order flow, and you're basically at this point, like the trade that I would have taken, well, it was kind of an order flow signal. It kind of got slow at '09, but in reality, that trade is really just, you know, trying to trade a continuation of the trend, isn't it? So when you have a trend and we're coming into a key level, like the one that, sorry, who was it that Live Action was pointing out? It's tough with price falling into last Tuesday's Globex balance. Look at the horizontal charts, show how price legged cleanly off balances as it migrated. You know, we're kind of in a tough area. And so I don't necessarily like the trades in this location. Anyways.
Uzi Knesset says, I think I am gonna rearrange my office after the session today, grinning face with big eyes. Ace Trade says, at Uzi Knesset I start by cleaning my screens, and it always ends with me redoing everything. The whole office is torn down and rebuilt. Ace Trade says, at Uzi Knesset, and when I say office, I mean corner of my bedroom.
What corner of my bedroom?
Lucas says, face with tears of joy. Uzi Knesset says, at Ace Trade's right? Lol.
I really don't like rearranging the office. I mean, I've had to do it. I think since we've started streaming, we've had to do it twice, right? Because at one point we were like facing that direction, you know, over there. And then we changed it because there was too much echo coming off of the wall to this. And then we got the sound treatment, which is so great. I would really like to get more of that. And then, you know, I've added things and stuff, but I haven't moved where it is. But my issue is, man, well, we've talked about this before, right? There's just not enough room for 3 monitors and speakers. And I got this triple monitor stand. I actually think I regret getting the triple monitor
Ace
stand.
Trade says, at Uzi Knesset I think I have OCD when it comes to the cords. I hate them all messy. I start trying to wrap them nice and neat and it goes from there. Lucas says, I'm always torn between facing the monitor towards the mountains or towards the lake.
Oh man, Ace, if you don't like the cords thing, man, behind my desk
says, at Ace Trade, same here. Cord management as priority, lol.
Behind my desk is a nightmare, guys. It is a nightmare. And the thing is that I just don't know how to, I don't know if it's possible to cable management this all nice, because well, for starters, the power plugs aren't in a very nice spot, but it's just, okay, you're talking about like a 6 feet difference, and some you know, most of my cords aren't 6 feet long. Like this monitor right here.
Michael X says, you can buy a basket from IKEA that hangs under the table.
There you go. Yeah. I want to get like well,
Uzi Knesset says, I have this big 52-inch TV on the wall to my left just hanging there, and I can use it as a 5th monitor. I feel like I gotta use it for something. I might put my desk under it, lol. Michael X says, for cords and bricks.
Well, so that's another thing, is I like to look at the Battle Stations subreddit a lot. And all of those guys, they have these really nice computers, right? And they put it on their desk. I don't have room on my desk to put the computer to show it off. Come on. Ain't nobody got room for that. So the computer is on the floor. And then I have this big UPS unit, right? So the UPS unit is kind of sitting back there because that's the only place I can put it where all the cords make it to it.
Ace Trade says, at Uzi Knesset you could put Sports Central on it, watch the plays of the day all day long.
There you go. But what I need to do...
Uzi Knesset says, I do lol. 4 monitor tree makes plenty of room for tower on desk face with tongue.
I need to make like a...
Lucas says, Seth, that's why I love SFF PC cases.
SSF PC cases. Why? Well, we'll look him up. Oh, small form factor PC cases. Yeah, you know, I saw this Linus Tech Tips video where he made one that was like this big. It was like tiny. I was like, I should get that for my son so that he can take
says,
it
like
between
the
houses.
Ghost S1.
Local Ghost S1. Let's look at it. you know, I'm okay with my with my computer being on the ground. I just wish I could show it off better, Maybe I just need to turn the whole thing to the side so that it's right there. You can still see it even though it's on the floor. And then I think I need to get one of those little things that you can put the computer underneath.
Ace Trade says out of that trade, going to make breakfast.
You know what I'm talking about. The CPU holder.
Uzi Knesset says I can't put mine on the ground. It'd be a flaming ball of husky hair in 30 minutes, lol.
I have pretty dense carpet. But I need to like a CPU holder to put the UPS in, and then I need to get longer cords for everything and get it all into the UPS.
Lucas says I think the one Linus built was the Velka 5.
Yes, it was. I think that's the one. I think that is exactly the one that I was looking at. Mount small form factor. I suppose that if I had one like that, I would fit on the desk, but then who cares? One of the nice things is that this monitor stand has like USB-C built into it, so I can plug stuff into that. Although I'm using it for my Focusrite, which I'm not using right now. But today, hopefully today, fingers crossed, my new microphone stand will come in, and then I will be able to use the Focusrite microphone. I don't know if it'll be better, but if it's not, we can just go back to the blue. But then I can put the microphone like right here. It'll be like right here, and I can sound amazing all the time. It'll be great, guys. Probably a little bit of I might need a pop filter. But I don't think it'll be too bad. And then eventually we'll switch out the microphone and we get like a really cool looking one. Excuse me. But the cord management messes. It's a problem. But there's a bigger thing though. So like this monitor right here, it has a cord that came with it that's like, it's like the little cord that goes, and then there's a box. Then it goes to the big cord. That's the way that most monitors come these days. But the actual cord is like not long enough. So it barely fits. And I can't really move the arm because the little thing, well, I don't even have it. But this is like the little thing to cover up the cords. It'll just pop off if I try and move it because that cord is so tight.
Gary Rich says good morning, moneymakers.
Good morning, Gary. Okay, so 05 half was where they had some big size, and they sold through that, bounced a little bit, and now they're going through it, and it's just not stopping.
Lucas says morning.
Does that mean that we could sell 05 half? I don't know. Maybe we should just wait.
IQ says 2 more ticks to go, ZB.
Maybe we should just wait for non-manufacturing
so
PMI. Yeah. Well, here's the thing is...
Uzi Knesset says 06 target in ZB just round the corner.
So let's look at these bars here. Okay. 615, 10,000 baht. 630, 21,000 baht. 645, 15,000 baht. And 7 o'clock, 18,000 baht. And now at this one, we're at 9,000. And what was the delta percentage? What was the percentage of buyers to sellers? Negative, -5, -6, -10. And then these past two bars, it's actually been 10% buyers, 10% more buyers, and 3% more buyers.
Lucas says it Uzi looks like those 400 at 07 could snap anytime.
So it actually looks to me like that the buyers, for the most part, were mostly just getting out of the way up until it got into this 05 to 07 range. And then buyers started coming in. Now, if we move lower again, then it'll be rip buyers, right? But that could be a signal that we're going to hold this. Could be like they might push it down a little bit, but then maybe we'll get a little bit of a recovery rally.
IQ says they pulling.
That was 7. No. So if I pull this up, like there was one signal on this at 06 that says 2 ticks lower, but it's such a tepid signal. At the moment, there is not a lot of activity in the treasuries. There's just not a lot of activity. It's just going little bit by little bit. Click. I don't know. So where is it going? It's the bid at 05. They stacked 1,000 on it. 5 years going back and forth there, but they're not hitting into 18.5. Well, they did once. 5 went into it. Let's reset. There we go. Oh, you know what? I haven't had Twitter pulled up. Let's see what's going on Twitter.
Wimmer Kevin says man wanted to do research like 2 hours ago, just so lazy today.
I should probably, well, I have an email to send off. Maybe I could do that now. Actually, do it this way. Do it live. No. Okay. Anyways, I mean, that's a pretty good stack at 05 half. 1,800. Looking to sell it. There's already been how much traded there? Oh, man. Almost 10,000 traded on both sides of 05 half. We've got a decent amount of people going here. That offer is starting to get a little heavy, though. Which might indicate that they're going to flip.
Live Action says with interest rates dropping no matter which ZBGCS this year brought approximately 25k per contract. If you held, I think that is approximately 1% plus a day per contract.
Yeah. He held. I mean, the way that it's been coming down.
Gary Rich says at Ace, what comes first, 3086 break or 3080 even break low?
You know, the E-mini hasn't really moved very far this morning, has it? It's very much different from yesterday when they were just like going and going and going into the open. And, you know, yesterday wasn't even that crazy of a rally. Well, 20 points. That's not huge. I don't see a reason for them to sell it. I'm still a little concerned, though, that like...
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich, not sure. Kicking myself for having a too tight stop on that trade. There was my 2 points. Gary Rich says slow and very tight range.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, shorts on the E-mini are going to be tough too, but they look a little choppy. Treasuries look a little choppy. I mean, treasuries are having a hard time getting, everybody shuffled around to where they need to go for price to move. There's lots of people that wanted to sell at 05 half, but not at 05. It looks like the guys at 05 did get their fill, though.
Gary Rich says maybe the MKTS or morning Beto dropping out ROFL. Uzi Knesset says ain't no one morning that shit LMAO. Ace Trade says at Gary Rich I think she will continue down.
Hopefully that works. Ace thinks that the E-mini will continue to sell, huh?
Gary Rich says at Ace yes have short ready to trigger at 3080.
It wouldn't surprise me because there's definitely some guys going long here in the treasuries, but that could just be profit taking, you know? That could just be profit taking.
Live Action says ZC holding yesterday low 83 if 82 breaks 80 looks for sure target. Gary Rich says even CL is tight range.
Is it? Well, there's a tick up finally. How much did that trade through? Huh. Some pretty big orders there on that uptick. It might turn around a little bit now. Is it stacking on its way back up? Hard to say. I don't know, guys. I think the trade was short 09 and out 05. 8 ticks, done. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't think it was a great trade. No. The 30-year is kind of saying maybe they turn. I think we'd just kind of bide our time. In fact, I think it might be a good idea to wait until all of the news is through. That services PMI is going to be interesting, I think. Download the app today. Why does Twitter want me to use their official application so badly? 1,000 added at 05 again. Again. Notice I'm saying a lot today, huh? The 5-year ticked down though.
Uzi Knesset says humdinger of a day.
Right. Well, I was thinking, on Tuesday come in, maybe we could take a live trade and catch a good one again on the downtrend as the downtrend continues, but I'm just not a fan of the way that it's working. Alligator says ZB looking laggy. I think it can reverse with ZF standing above S2 and ZB looking laggy. I think so too. I'm just not confident enough in a buy. Especially not at 718. Anyways. Vince Barkin, not in favor of negative rates for the US. European Central Bank should explore issuing public digital currency, says EU draft document. German GDP forecast for 2020 slashed by 1%. Council of Economic Advisors to the German government has trimmed its growth forecast for 2020 to 0.9 from 1.9, the government itself forecast in October.
Live Action says 45 minutes we have ism and jolts.
Yep. I think ism will probably move us.
Gary Rich says it's so slow I am licking paint off the wall or counting body hairs.
Looks like the Project Veritas video about NBC. Oh. So it's from ABC, not CNN? ABC Insider admits they were covering up Epstein thing for years. Well, let's not talk about that. I don't want anything bad to happen to you guys. Donald Trump complaining about New York again. U.S. rates now back to pre-FOMC levels. It's interesting. I kind of forgot about that whole huge buy after the FOMC and everything.
Live Action says bonds appear weakest of bunch.
Yeah. Even my spreads aren't moving very much. What's with that? And they're all steepening, in fact. Well, except for the knob. The knob is... Sorry, they're all flattening except for the knob. I forget which way is which. The knob is moving down, so the knob is flattening. The knob is flattening, and the 2s and 10s and the 10s and 5s are steepening. They're moving up. A wonderful family and friends from Utah got caught between two vicious drug cartels who were shooting at each other, with the result being many great American people killed, including young children and some missing. If Mexico needs or requests help in cleaning these out. Where was that? That was in Utah? Let's see. From Utah. Oh, I see. 9 U.S. citizens killed in North Mexico.
Live Action says agree so longs on ZT shorts on ZB. I don't know how to do spreads. Ace Trade says another short trigger 3081.00. Ace Trade says but too close to open.
Well, I think that probably the most profitable spread is going to be short ZN and buying ZB. But then on this other side, you could buy ZF and sell ZN. Basically, ZN is going down more than the 5-year is. The 5-year is not leading us like it was. And neither is the 30. The 10 is in charge.
Gary Rich says, Seth, do you trade bull or bear steepeners?
Now, well, I mean, I would, if I was trading spreads, I would probably trade any of them, right? But it's a bear steepener, right? Bear steepener. I don't know. When the spreads go up, that usually means easier monetary policy. But why is it the knob not going up? The knob is not going up because the guys in the 10-year are really pushing it down, relatively speaking. You're getting like how to explain.
Lucas says that's your spread right there between 10 and 5.
This is like this, and this is kind of like this.
Lucas says you saw that, lol.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it right there, right? And here. There's more sell pressure in the 10-year than anything else.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich you are almost in. Lucas says it was a machine gun selling 10-year and booing 5.
Oh, you're right. I can see that. You know what? I don't have my... I kind of have a couple of windows covering up that spot. Let me fix that. That's a decent amount buying into 06 there.
Luis Alarid says 129 flat.
They're definitely turning it here. Right there. And then the volume too. So now the 5-year is going to lead us up. So if you were trading the spread, it would be buy this one and sell this one. And the amount that you're going to make on this one should be more than the amount that you make on this one, assuming that that trend continues. But that also means that on the way up, you're going to see a lot of selling here, right? So given all of that, and then here again, it's going to be, and now the knob is a little bit more questionable but I think the trade is sell this and buy this. So here again, you're going to see a lot of sell volume like that. You could see that and you might say, well, it can continue, but that might be a misread because of the spread. Although in the larger scheme of things, it's the currencies that are moving us for sure. It's that dollar. It's that dollar. Digi took it off even though he was long 05, huh?
Live Action says long ZT 107, 193 just for a trade. I just hope that guy doesn't show up. You know that one guy in the world that can turn a good trade into a loser. He knows me personally.
Well, ZT would be the place to do it, right?
Ace Trades says 2 min.
We'll see. I'm interested to see how this works out for you, Live Action, because we don't see guys take them in the 2-year very often. Digital Shot took a -1 on that. Now he's going long at 05.5 now. I mean, I like it, except for the way, and the E-mini just opening up is not very positive. See, the E-mini could come out and do just
Ace
about
Trades
anything.
says there is a point. I'm going to cover at break even.
Good job. Well, it doesn't need to go far when you're only looking for 2 points, huh? I was like, how did you do that? But then I was like, well, I just moved 2 points. Shrug. Bitcoin kind of looks like it's peaked and is turning back down again, but it's kind of going too slow. I should probably bring this down so that we can see the E-mini. I've thought in the past, I was thinking, hey, it'd be nice to just be like big, But, meh. I don't want to cover up the E-mini. Let's make this so that and let me adjust this here. Okay. Not much on Twitter today either. It's a quiet
Wimmer
day.
Kevin says, yo, what are those colors in the Amini? Is this some Matrix shit? Agent Smith buying ZN and Neo shorting?
We changed the colors a couple of days ago to the color that your eye is most sensitive to. Your eye is most sensitive to that bright yellow greenish color. Makes sense because, that's the color that's most common in nature, that green, from plants and stuff. So it makes it a little bit easier to interpret the chart because you can see much more clearly the differences between them. Yeah, it's a lot more clear over here on this one, right? Can you see how it's you can see the stacking below. Here they caught it. Here they caught it. It came up. It's actually moved up now. There's some buying pressure in it. We come over here. That one probably needs to be a little bit. Anyways. So, yeah.
Live action says I got rid of all the blues. Heard that color is bad for the eyes.
Color is bad for the eyes? I don't know. I mean, looking at a screen all day is definitely not good for your eyes. That's for sure. Hey. So we're getting a little bit of spikes and they're pushing up. And the E-mini be selling. Can the impossible rally continue? Find out today. And you can see the 30-year spiking it too. It's a tepid sell in the E-mini, though. I think they're a little bit too...
Wimmer Kevin says I guess PMI will be interesting. If we get a bad number like early October, then S could finally drop a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is that when you look at the larger trend and everything else like that, you know? I mean, come on. That's crazy. That's a really good trend. That's a really good uptrend, and we made it significantly higher than we did before. You know? If they come back to something like right here, no big deal. No big deal. So they could sell it, but of course, if they do sell, if the PMI is bad, that might cause people to start thinking about other things, you know? Is the 5-year opened up at 21? Hold on. ZF load. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't load. Yeah. Why you no load? Alright, do it here and do it here too, I guess. There we go. Whew, okay. That's what's wrong. Didn't have my E-mini one set up right, so it was just overwriting them. Ha! Aha! Pretty big opening range, the overnight session in ES.
Live action says short ZC here. Ace Trade says 5 points is an ace straight.
Short corn? That's corn, right? Remember yesterday we were saying if you can't trade corn? That's me. I should be trading corn, guys. I think so.
Live action says yes.
There's a decent amount of volume that traded like right here. See that? But we're below it. I need to change my hotkeys on this, man. Control Shift 7, that's too much.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich, did you get in? Are you short 3080?
We want Gary to make money here, guys.
Gary Rich says yes.
Well, you've got a little bit of long delta and they're pushing lows. That's good for you. And it's not exactly showing strong level 2 activity either, so they're probably, the swing may not be done either. Never know, of course, but a frustrating thing about the E-mini is so hard to know when it's done. Treasuries, it's so obvious. I mean, that downtrend is over. Whether or not they come back up and come down lower or they make a new high is another thing, but that swing is done.
Ace Trade says going to lock in 3 plus a tick and watch it drop.
Well, there was some strong stacks on the offer as they came back there.
Live action says Geesh 439 block short CT, there's that guy again.
439 block? It's interesting to me that the ZN, it popped up. It didn't stack behind it. They're coming back to that spot. So it could be that was just a pullback that was caused by guys freaking out because of the E-mini. But it could also be that there's new buyers coming in here at 06 and that they're going to hold it and try and push it back to the VWAP at 11. And Bitcoin has flipped back around and is pushing towards 9,500 now. Nassim Nicholas Taleb admitting an error in one of his papers. This guy, I'm telling you, this is why he's so good, man.
Lucas says nice trade.
He's honest. Okay, down tick at 06. Actually happened on a poll.
Ace Trade says at Lucas, let me guess, you missed it, lol.
I guess we just need to make a subscription service, guys. the Ace Trades short E-mini subscription service. And you get a big loud notification. You know, what you could do is you could put them in the Discord channel and the equity indexes channel.
Lucas says I got half of the move.
Because then we could set up, then I can set up like notifications and make a special sound and stuff. Ace is short, guys. Oh, he got half of it. That's not bad. It wasn't a huge move. It was like 10 points or something like that.
Ace Trade says it Lucas nice, that is good.
But the treasuries, so the offers are stacking up again.
Ace Trade says 5 so far. Live Action says scratch that ZT don't like it anymore.
Okay, uptick at 05 half was a pull. Iceberg there. Digital Shot did catch it long in 05 half and got 3 on it. That's not bad. I'm just waiting on this PMI now. Question is the movement, was it a trade on PMI? I don't know, but we've got minute 15 seconds to go.
Gary Rich says trying to manage YM short NS short.
Both of them? I don't know. I always screw up when I try and do more than one thing. But I would, we're coming in here into a news event that could move the markets.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich it's hard having money pour in from 2 places. We feel bad for you, bro.
And this particular piece of news could probably cancel out everything else that has happened this morning. So,
Gary Rich says yes, I'm a real YM specialist.
I didn't take any trades, but you know, say I had taken the short up there at 07 or something, I would be taking it off now for the news. Okay, 5 seconds. We're expecting a reading of 51.0 with a previous reading of 51.0. Okay. So there's the news. Not a lot of trade coming off of it. The number is 50.6. 50.6. This is a level of a diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers in the services industry. So services came in 0.4, spot 4 less than expected. A little bit of buying. I don't know if that's a big enough deal. Pretty anticlimactic.
Gary Rich says here's the drop.
In the E-mini? They're playing with us. I don't know what it's going to do.
Ace Trade says fall like you stole it. Aisle 3137 says its speculator set the CME breakdown on Bitcoin. Did they move back trades to prior the breakdown because the spot market didn't actually go there? Is it actually allowed to do such a move?
I don't know.
Kevin says even though I trade 4 markets I rarely have more than one position at the same time.
Huh.
Last week I think I had an S long and natural gas long.
So well, here's the chart. Let me show you the chart. So when it started, it was at 93.80. We moved up to 9,800 or so. We pushed down to past 8,400.
Gary Rich says half comes off at 3,075. Well, let the rest run.
Then comes back to 94.15. Now the question is it allowed to do such a move? Yeah, the Bitcoin future can go any which way it wants. It is entirely possible if somebody was really stupid, they could buy the Bitcoin futures up to 10,000, even though the spot exchanges are at like 6,000. That's entirely, there's nothing in the rule of the instrument that says that it has to do that, other than that at the end of the day, it settles in cash.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich, I like your trade management.
But of course, because of arbitrage and everything, that'll never happen. So I'm assuming this is pretty close to the index that they use. But the whole move is kind of fishy, isn't it? That's just some whale tried to buy it up so we could sell it or something. I don't know. Okay, so Treasury's buying up here. A little bit of decreasing volume, though. I'm a little skeptical of it. We do have some news at the top of the hour. That is the ISM non-manufacturing PMI. It's going to be more important news than the final services, generally speaking. It's red. So I think it's probably worth waiting still. Brand Squawk, quoting market, taken together the manufacturing.
Adel 3137 says so it is different to swaps on BitMEX? Deribit did actually exact same move 2 to 3 days ago even though spot didn't go there.
That's interesting. Yeah, it is a little, the way that it works is it's a cash settled future, which means that when the futures close, you get the difference between where you bought or sold it at and where the index closes at. And the index is based on more than one exchange, if I recall correctly. You'd have to go onto the CME website and look at what the index is. So it follows that pretty closely, but it doesn't have to.
Adel 3137 says thanks, man.
No problem. Overall, though, like my take on it is that Bitcoin is kind of just sitting where it is, and the whales can move it anywhere, anytime they want. And it's impossible for me to predict what the whale is going to do, except for that your risk reward isn't very good. The reward on the upside is probably something like 1,200, and the risk on the downside could be as low as 1,000. So that's kind of my. But I post a chart every day with my thoughts on it at the Patreon in the video description, so you can go and check that out. It's been kind of weird. I'm kind of starting to wonder, because yesterday I said, well, here it is and it's doing this. I suspect that they're still going to want to buy it going into the end of the year, or that there might be another buy push rather. And I post that, and then I go in and I get into work, and it's gone up. It's almost like somebody sits there and waits for me to say something, and if I say something that's even remotely bullish, then they buy it up. So I was all starting to question it, but then I woke up this morning and saw this huge, oh my gosh, like what a bender down. But developing, Saudi Crown Prince announces deal between Yemeni government separatists in end to power struggle in southern Yemen. Reuters citing Saudi state media. That would be good. That would be good. Okay, treasuries up here. They're gonna trade up into 07.5. I'm getting a spike, so hands off. Also, news coming up at 8. Tayoran notes latest to China. To ultimately eliminate all existing tariff is a core concern that has never changed, nor will it ever change, even if phased agreement should be reflect this core concern. This is Olivia Key Zhang.
Adel 3137 says yes, it is hard to predict. You really have to stare at the chart and look at the actual trades.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, here's the thing, is...
Adel 3137 says when it was at 7300 I saw $10 million short orders appearing on BitMEX and getting eaten fast several times.
Ooh, yeah, okay, so if you're watching the order flow in the middle of those moves, then yeah, you can totally see them. So somebody bought up on that, huh? That's interesting. And they got to 7,300 on BitMEX, huh? See, I've only been looking at my Bitcoin chart today. I usually don't look at the cryptocurrency stuff until I'm at work and bored. That's interesting. BitMEX went down more, huh? But BitMEX got hacked and everything, so...
Adel 3137 says I mean a week ago.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, sure. That's a different thing, huh? But yeah, I've had a couple of people tell me that they watch order
Adel
flow.
3137 says before the move to over 10K.
And they can kind of see these things where, like today, it's buying up, and you would see the market absorbing as it goes. And nobody, unless you like write the tools yourself, you know, nobody is even the wiser about what's actually going on. And then, of course, it just totally dumped. Okay, well, so they were pushing at 07, but it didn't go. Stacking at 07, 2000, but it may balance here for a little bit, and we still got about 6 minutes or so to go until the news. Yeah, so they did buy back up into 07, 1400. So the whole thing here is like 070 would be a potential short spot, but given that they're spiking it here, it's probably wouldn't want to stand in front of it. They're trying to push it past 07.5. Probably. And they may make it too. At least 3 women and 6 children, all apparently U.S. citizens, were killed by drug cartel gunmen in northern Mexico, officials said Tuesday. And why is the cartel in Mexico getting so extreme now all of a sudden? 5 minutes. Seeing a little bit of change in liquidity as we're moving up here. Note, for instance, the strong bid at 06.5. The strong bid's at 11 and 12 in ZB. Not really in the 5-year, though, is it? I'm a little bit in the 5-year, actually. A little bit of stacking
Gary
in the
Rich
5-year.
says lol cartel getting extreme now ROFL.
I mean, has it always been this bad, or it just sounds to me I'm hearing about it a lot more this week. Okay, so the 10-year definitely moved up, but they still have not stacked below them in the 10-year. And ZB...
Gary Rich says you haven't been to Mexico, have you?
No, I have not. No. I mean, I know that there's a lot of gang violence, but it's not something that I hear on the news every day. And now I'm hearing about something about it almost every day. And now this thing sounds like that this particular thing has actually caught people's attention this time.
Gary Rich says Live Leak has great videos on cartels.
Okay. Maybe I'll go check that out. ZB's still pushing. ZB did make it a slightly higher high. Oh, this PMI is going to be interesting. This PMI is going to be interesting.
Live Action says some smart politicians want open borders.
Yeah, right. Well,
Uzi Knesset says don't go check it out if you can't handle beheadings lol.
Oh, there. Okay. Beheadings. Hmm. Hmm. 6,000 into
Greg
07
Orlovsky
now.
says chainsaw.
And it's giving us a golden signal. Well, I don't know if I can consider this one a golden signal. But 2 bars in a row of over 15,000 level 2 changes at 07. Extremely indicative
Gary Rich
of...
says our bodies hanging upside down on the freeways.
Extremely, man. Well, I don't care that somebody's selling the 10-year anymore. There's bodies hanging upside down on the freeways, guys. Man, ugh. But that's not... So why do you think the media is reporting on it more this week? And they sell it at 06.5. 45... No. We got about 2 minutes. Somebody's selling...
Lucas says it's not like you are going to see that if you visit.
Yeah, not if you go to a touristy area, right?
Ace Trade says it Gary Rich but they are okay, right? Live Action says doesn't fit their agenda political lean.
But it does this week?
Uzi Knesset says clicks asterisk.
I don't
Uzi
know.
Knesset says because immigration and the wall is such a big divisive topic. Focusing
Right.
on cartels will drive cliffs.
I think it's so, one of the statistics that I saw, and I should probably go and confirm this, but they were talking about like foreign aid that we've given to countries and that some of those countries used that aid to build a wall, and that the amount that they gave was more than it take to build a wall on the southern border, or the amount that the administration is looking for at least. And it just seems to me like the whole thing is really silly. Like, Democrats really don't want it because Donald Trump wants it. And that's like the only reason. Because, like, to me, here's the thing that just boggles the mind to me. Oh, hold on. We'll talk about this after the news, right? We're going to have this news here in 20 seconds. So we're looking for a reading of 53.5 with the previous reading of 52.6. 5 seconds here. Oof. That is down, boys. That is down. What's the number? 54.7. Good number. Still, and it's positive. 54.7, that's okay. How is it, it's still low. It's still one of the lowest levels since 2016, but yeah. Okay.
Live Action says long S.
Yeah, yes is actually would be a good long here. You got a good long for me here, Ace?
Lucas says is it 13 ticks down good?
Was good. 07.5 was where they were absorbing somebody new. I wouldn't have taken that before the news, of course, but man, that when you get two bars like that, there's a pretty good chance that somebody's gonna push it the other way. That somebody's accumulating. Well, man, I was even thinking, well, I could click here, I could click here. Now it's just still going. Still going. How far down do we have to go before we run into like any kind of, well, they're past any kind of support level now. You don't want to fade this. Too late. Now he's stacking. I don't know. I think that that's probably indicative of more downside.
Live action says close.
Man. So now I have to scroll and now I have to go out to this daily bar to see like
Wimmer Kevin says so soon new ATHNS?
128.16 is the next level I see below us. I mean, that's really far away, but it's not impossible. And in fact, that's the largest order that I see on the DOM right now is at 16. And look, he's still stacking at 29. Oh, I don't know about this. I'm a little bit worried about the stacks for some reason. I did say that, well, it's probably could keep going. Okay, now he's hitting back hard. Let's see if there's a pullback. New all-time high in ES, I bet. But the problem with ES is getting your spot. I don't know if I could get a spot with 10 ticks of risk in this action right now. Okay, that was some strong. Okay, probably some profit taking there. Okay. Now I can see the level 2 picking back up again now that they're doing a pullback.
Live action says long ZT again 175.
No, funny thing about this is that ISM number, it wasn't good. It was just a lot. It was just a oh, well, I don't want to say even what would be. It was moderately better than what they expected. It wasn't a good number per se. Yeah, that's a real spike there. Hmm. 29.5 not holding though. ISM survey respondent, our business remains at the same level. There is no expectation for new orders since clients normally do not make capital expenditure decisions in the last quarter. Our only expectation is with regards to the US-China trade deal outcome. Uptick. That was good. And stack. Pull. 30.
Live action says looking for 181 ZT target.
Okay. Uptick again and pull again. They're playing with a little bit more here at 30, 30.5. 129 even is where there's a big order. Okay. Can you imagine if we had taken one of those shorts at like 09 and just held it? Probably could have held it through the nose in that particular instance. Well, so some strong selling came in at 30, but there was some pretty big buy icebergs there on it. I don't know if I'm getting enough to take something here. Although I'm... futures show first fully priced in Fed cut pushed back to 2021. Okay. So now they're saying they still think that the Fed is going to cut. It's just that the economy will be able to sputter on a little bit longer than they expected. Is that what they're saying? 5-year definitely took a little bit of a dive there. She pushed us down. But look, there's way too much volume trading around here. 29.5 is the point of control for this bar. That was a pretty good buy in the E-mini, but it's already coming back. Maybe we could take it around 30.7650 though. Somewhere around that open area. Okay. There he goes, bid again. Showing a little bit more activity now as they're coming up. Okay. Strong stack on the uptick. E-mini falling down below the initial news. Curious. Okay, now they're eating into 31.5. We'll see what happens at 129. There's a big amount at 129 even, but you would expect there to be a good amount there. Ooh, he stacked up and took it quick. Talk about nasty
Live
action,
action
guys.
says out CT.
Talk about nasty action.
Greg Orlovsky says China news.
Do you see China news? I don't see China news. Oh, China needs firmer U.S. commitments on lifting tariffs if Donald Trump wants to seal a trade deal, says SCMP. Oh. He wants to buy it. I don't know what to make of it. Retrace, though. China news canceling out the PMI would totally make sense, though. But I'm getting... still getting pushing in. That could be, if it's China trade news, then it could be he's going to try and push it through up. I don't think I want to make a bet here, though. That would be... I don't know if I have a very good probability or risk reward here. Well, I suppose the risk reward on the downside is okay, because really could go to 02. But we're starting to form another distribution zone around the 129 here, which suggests that the down move is over. The down move is over. 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 Hmm. No. It's a little kind of tough call here. I think that we might move up a little bit, but like the price for me to take, I'm not sure. And this could just dump so hard. Zipper. No, I don't like it. Firmer commitments on lifting tariffs.
Live action says wish I reversed that S.
I think China is now trading floor audio tweeting it too. I mean, here's the thing. It's unclear to me what is in the actual deal. Does the United States get any of its big asks in the deal? If it doesn't get any of its big asks, why should we take the tariffs off? I think that China is really pushing their luck here. And this is really starting to look like what we were concerned about the whole time. That China will make it seem like there's going to be a deal and then they'll pull the rug out from underneath of everyone. That they're just trying to get a little bit of a breather. That's bullish right there. That the way they took a 1 there. Now a 1/2.
Live action says when the impeachment inquiry vote came out, China was emboldened.
You think so?
Gary Rich says the next set of tariffs in deck.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the president and I was reading this, I'd be like, okay, fine, then we'll have a December tariff.
Live action says yes, they commented afterwards.
There's still iceberging in here on the bits. So now a ton is traded at 0.1. That dog, he sounds like he's like being strangled to death or something when he barks to get to be let out. It really is just trying to make the most pathetic sounding noise ever. You're pathetic. That's what I think when I hear that, is like, you're so pathetic. I don't want to help you. You're a pathetic weakling. Personally, I think that the timing of that piece of news is suspicious. The PMI comes out, it's good. The market is really going, the treasuries in particular are really going down. And then all of a sudden, some piece of news comes in to hold the bottom. You know?
Live action says nibbled at ZC. I don't have the patience watching it and missing S.
Still want to be short.
Kevin says, where did you hear the news? Nothing on Zero Hedge so far.
So I'm seeing it from Trading Floor Audio. Heads up, not so fast on U.S.-China Phase 1 trade agreement according to SCMP. China needs firmer U.S. commitments on lifting tariffs if Donald Trump wants to seal a trade deal, is the headline.
IQ says ZB nice drop, new low 157 to 26.
If you check out my Twitter, And if you're not following me on Twitter, I'd recommend you do so. Not that I tweet that often, but I try and put something out maybe once a day. And I have lists, and if you look at my lists, I have a Squawks list, and that's what I look at for news. Well, I suppose I could buy 0.5, but it's not really giving me anything. Okay, E-mini is possibly recovering here. Downtick in the 10-year. Bit of volume left at 0.2 and 0.5. So some signs that they're going to try and push it down again, and we're still below where we were after the news. But a lot of stacking up through here as well. Big stack at 0.1. Almost 2,000 put on there. And he pulled it. They're at the bottom of this range again at 0.1. Yeah.
Greg Orlovsky says earlier this morning there was similar news from China, stated tariffs should be removed on an equal basis.
Yeah. It's a good point, Greg. There was a story earlier, but it wasn't quite so forceful, was it? But it was kind of a tepid, like China wants the tariffs lifted. And then the news was, if you really want this to happen, you're going to need to lift the tariffs. So my question is, what are they actually offering us in return? Does the United States get anything out of it? Are you going to make changes? Because if they don't make any of the changes to the big things, right, which is no stealing, no cheating, and no lying, okay, if they're not fixing those three things, then screw it. Why should we pull the tariffs off? Just to get a deal? It's like what the United States gets is the ability to say that there was a deal, but they're not actually getting anything in the deal? Really? I mean, that's what it seems like to me right now, but we don't actually know what's in the deal, so we don't really know, do we? Okay, now I'm getting a spike. That is a spike. And they're putting very forceful offers on it as well. And the E-mini's pushing up a little bit. That dog. And look, as it's doing it, huge iceberg at 0.5. All the animals. Oh, wait. Oh, stack at 0.5. Stack it. Okay, not at 129. Hmm.
Gary Rich says the deal is reducing 25% tariffs. Screw China, they cheat and steal. Hit them with 50% and see their economy fall.
Yeah. I can't say I disagree. I don't know. I don't want to sound crazy or anything. You know what? Screw it. If I sound crazy, I don't care if I sound crazy. But I'm just trying to put a little bit of like, because I don't really know. I don't really know. But what I'm hearing right now makes me like think like, what's in it for me? Like, why would Donald Trump take that deal? What are they giving that Donald Trump takes that deal? That you get to say you made a deal and you have a big sign? I just don't think that that's enough. Because here's what's happening. If you're listening, Mr. Trump, here's what happens. You go, you have this big signing, you get the big media thing, and you know what CNN is going to say? Donald Trump signs trade deal that United States gets absolutely nothing out of. You see? And it's like we put all of this leverage
Michael
on
X says
China.
to save the economy.
We put all of this leverage on China. We go through all of this stress and craziness for the past, who knows how long, a year and a half or whatever. And then what do we get out of it? We get to say we made a deal. That's not going to fly with the American public.
Wimmer Kevin says China promised Trump to get dirt on Biden. Lol.
Yeah, maybe it would be worth dirt on Biden. That's a good call, Kevin. Look, he's buying 10,000 there. This is suspicious. Big stack. Buyers are still iceberging crazy. I don't know.
Gary Rich says read the 475 PG tariff document. LOL on Biden dirt.
So, is there a document out there I can read? Maybe a summary? Something that says, like, China agrees to change their
Luis Alarid says
rules.
Sether chart on ZN shows low will be 128.20.
Your chart on ZN shows low will be 128.20? Where are you getting that? My long-term chart shows that the next major level that we have below us is at 128.16. Because that was the low from September. Okay. This chart, though, is showing a huge aberration. Huge aberration. They stopped. Now we're not seeing a lot of volume come through. Could be wrong. Well, I would need that. I would like that 15.5 in ZF to pull. Let's reset things so that they're a little bit better aligned. Okay. This is a lot of activity going on in the 5-year. Quite the battle, guys. Okay, that was a lot that hit 152 and a quarter. And then a down tick. Holy shnikes. What the fuck? I shouldn't swear. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if there are any children watching. I don't say things like that. It's bad to say bad words, okay? But what the what? That was crazy. And now a strong hit into 31.
Gary Rich says go to ustr.gov. All the info is there on tariffs.
Okay. ustrade.gov. Okay. Check that out when I'm at work today. Okay, so 152 goes bid, holds, and there's a pause in volume. 10-year hasn't gone. 30-year has not ticked up yet. Noticing a bit of steepening in the knob, though. The knob might be flipping around on us here. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is a lot of volume here. Well, 15 and a quarter is still holding, and there's actually some iceberging on it. Okay, 15 half goes bid, and the 10-year finally ticks up. And 30-year ticked up. It's kind of tepid in the 30 years still, though. Getting a lot of clicks. This is a chippy area, guys. I don't know how I feel about this trade. I don't like that going offer, for sure. I might be misreading this move here. I don't know. E-mini's going down. E-mini's pushing lows again. Stock's pushing lows again. Treasury's not buying. Well, okay, so there you go. How much is going to trade here, guys? This is insane. Oh, you know what? It is 8:30. I'm just seeing. So, I usually don't like it when I'm in a trade this late. And the 5-year squeezing down. And the E-mini pulling off of those lows again.
Gary Rich says covered out for 6.
Covered out for 6. On your E-mini trade, you're short. Well, I liked what we had going there, but it didn't really follow through, did it? And now a few ticks lower, and the chart is starting to look pretty negative. I don't know if they're actually going to hold it here.
Push through 3,073.
Yeah. The treasuries just look like they're trying to squeeze people out. They said, set the one. We got to squeeze him out. Bid at 30. Uptick. Doesn't hold. Zero Hedge says, time for some trade talk optimism. This is about the time where the administration comes out and is like, no, we had a talk with them yesterday and everything's going great. Yeah.
Gary Rich says yes on short. If I wait when the blast came on news, would have almost 10 but 6 is fine.
Well, I don't think I'm going to take another one. That was the spot and it didn't take. And it's past 8:30, so -3 is okay.
Gary Rich says still short YM.
Still kind of wish that I had tried taking a short during all the crazy action, but, it's probably best when I'm... You know what? Another thing is like this China news that's coming out. Certainly it reversed and it's coming up on that, but, there was a lot of profit taking on that as well. And the cumulative delta through that area was just crazy, Like, I had a good spot. Our side lost. It's okay. I don't think it was a bad thing to take that trade. But
Live Action says 27,400 YM looks key for short continuation.
I'm really suspicious of it stopping here and pushing back up and then it being insane on the upside.
Michael X says I missed all the fun. I just took a short from 10.5 to 5.5 earlier this morning.
Oh, really? You took it from there to there? That's not bad, dude. That's kind of funny that I just didn't really get much. It just didn't really tell me much of anything back there, It's funny when you look at all of the action before all of that just seems so insignificant because it moved so much since the ISM number. Well, what do we have on the name? Can we say Candy Impossible? We should change it. Question for Jamie Dimon. When will JP Morgan cause another repo market crisis? I really think it was JP Morgan. $29, and there's a stack 28.5. Stack on the ask. Mike Pence talking about the family in Utah that got killed by the drug cartels. Uptick. I'm really seriously thinking about buying it here, man. No, it's not quite right. The 10 years interest definitely died down as we moved down here, but you're starting to see a little bit of something in the 5 year. And it really is late for me to take a trade at like 840, and how long would it take for something like that to go through? Because I only got like 20 minutes, you know? And there was so much volume above us that I'm really skeptical that we buy up here that we're just gonna bust right out of 129.20 easily in the next 20 minutes, you know? It probably would take time. There's also some ice working at 29.5, so. I think that, there's people that are still short, and when it came back up there, they just said, nope, we still want more, and they forced it and won. And there's probably other guys on the other side thinking China trade war like myself. And there just wasn't enough of them because once they pushed it up, they didn't take it, did they? And we continue to see these crazy big icebergs too. And the sellers break through 29. Okay, well, I should post my cryptocurrency notes.
Live action says ZT scratch and then +4 ticks, S +3 points on news then +2, 1 point skims and last averaged in scratch, ZC +1 point a lot of maneuvering for little.
Interesting trades, dude. But you did make money on your ZT. Some 11,000 scientists call for
Live action
population
says
control
yes finally.
in mass climate alarm. Oh boy. Scientists from 50 nations converged onto Geneva to discuss what was then called the CO2 climate problem. At the time, with reliance on fossil fuels having helped trigger the 1979 oil crisis, they predicted global warming would eventually become a major environmental challenge. Blah, blah, oh, and then you have to have a subscription. Screw you, Bloomberg. Never mind.
Live action says saw large volume come in off spike down join the party.
They put it behind a paywall, must not be that important. Look, the 5 year is telling me to reverse. Arrgh. Post the notes, Seth. Post the notes. Man, I have almost 2.5 years of cryptocurrency charts in here. That's how long I've been posting this Patreon. would be 29 is where you'd take it. Or where you'd be long. Okay.
Luis Alarid says if electric cars were cheaper would be easy to live green.
So that looks like a false breakout. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to move lower, although recently it kind of has. To ensure there is enough liquidity to pursue $32 billion in buybacks and dividends in 2020, JP Morgan, which has the highest GSIB surcharge, caused a repo market crisis, forcing the Fed to launch quote-unquote not QE. It says zero hunch. Look at that. Fuck. Should have taken it. It's a low interest here, though, 30.5. Plus 3, I think I could have been happy with that. E-mini pushing down. And I'm feeling like I'm getting some really extreme fear of missing out feelings here, guys. Live action says, watch YM. Sorry, the robot has exceeded your requests. Somebody tell YouTube to get to fix their act up with their API, huh? With the YouTube Live API. It's ridiculous. You only get 10,000 requests. Well, I think in the end I had the read right. They were pushing it down to buy it, and then they gave the signal to buy it, but I was a little early, and I should have been patient and waited for that thing, and then I could have gotten long at 29. But even at 29, it's given us like 2 or 3, and they're coming back down. And it looks like they're more concerned about what E-mini is doing, so I'm not going to tempt fate by taking another one. So -3 today. But that's okay. And there might be some good opportunities tomorrow because of all this. We'll see if they hold this out or what. I mean, if they hold price down here, maybe we could see a strong bounce. But I'm wondering the whole China trade deal thing could fall apart really quickly, couldn't it? Hmm. There's a lot more liquidity than there's been, huh? So people coming back into the markets down here. It really could bounce. Even though we weren't able to catch anything in here, I think that we saw some really important action. So let's just, kind of put this in the back of our mind here that when we breached below 129.040 or so, or let's say we breached 129, and now liquidity is increasing. I don't really care about the China news. It's been priced in already. Just fade the hype. I don't know. The problem here, Gary, is that a ton of people took positions. A ton of people took positions up there, and it does not look to me like it has resolved itself. So, on a short-term basis, there's probably many more swings to come. I suspect that it's going to move higher, that they're going to come back up to like 129.05. Sure, 129.05 would be a good spot. Don't blame you, you should be shorting here, but if the fractal micro range breaks low, I'm taking a short. Well, it was a good short around 129.20, huh? We took it around 30, right? So it wasn't even like it moved that far against us. I don't know. But let's just see how it goes today, and then where we're at tomorrow morning, and then if the liquidity is still there tomorrow morning. If we recover and then the liquidity is still high tomorrow morning, then that could be a really big clue as to what's to come. Or if it doesn't, might just mean there was action, people came in, but then we would want to wait for the next, set of headlines, because honestly, with the way that we've been trading, if more trade uncertainty comes in, these indexes are just going to get obliterated, Anyways, I don't want to leave, guys. We had so much fun. Well, I want to make another trade, but I gotta go. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully it's a better day for us. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.